Hello, 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 and welcome to a brand new episode of Full Throttle, where today we are covering episode 8 of Drag Race Germany Season 1. I am your host, Extra Extra, and as always, I am joined by my bestie, Thomas. How are you, baby?
Hi, I'm so great. I am just into going back to work, but yeah, it's amazing. It's fine.
Looking on the bright side.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Hey, that is what I am currently doing.
Yeah, what you have to.
I mean, every week
Yeah.
I think it's going to get better, and I'll let you know when we get to that point.
It's like Katya when she says, "Every day I wake up and I say to myself, this is gonna be the best day of my life," and then I go to bed and I'm like, "Well, it wasn't."
That is one of my favorite Katya clips, and I'm pretty sure you showed it to me.
Yeah, I did, and it's amazing.
So before we dive in too deep, I just want to give a short disclaimer not to send any of the queens that we talk about in this video any kind of hate or negativity. We want to lift these queens up, so please give them a like and subscribe and comment, but keep it positive, shall we? So this week on the Weekly Onesie Watch, honestly, this might be my favorite onesie so far. I mean, I love the pink. I love the detailing at the top. It matched with the pink hat and the boots. It's just super 80s, and I love it. With the earrings and stuff, she looks badass.
She looks so cute. She does remind me of, and one of the queens brings her up later in the roast. You should look her up. It's Hella von Sinnen. It's a very pretty famous German TV personality, comedian.
I was wondering.
Who's also a lesbian, but she kind of gives me those vibes. Like, she gives me like butch lesbian.
Yeah, but still fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Iconic.
And I was so glad that Barbie was joined by Dianne. I miss Gianni, but I mean, having Dianne for a mini challenge is really great. So once again this week, there was a pretty pointless mini challenge. That was just, 10 minutes of fun and chaos for the girls. I guess it was just all over the place, trying to get into a nightclub. Very typical for a Drag Race Germany mini challenge.
Yeah.
But the main event this week was the Dragtastisch Comedy Roast, which there have been some acting and comedy type challenges, but this one always stands out as being pretty unique. I mean, we have seen queens that we know to be hilarious, like Trinity the Tuck, who just bombed roast after roast until, at least finally, on All-Star 7, she knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Especially for these first-time girls, I could tell that there were going to be a couple that succeeded and probably a couple that struggled. I didn't know which ones it was going to be, especially people like Meta. I was a little on the fence about, because I do know that she's funny, but I don't think of her as a comedy queen. And if you get up there and panic, it doesn't take much for a comedy roast set to crash and burn.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, I mean, there's been so many instances where queens where you didn't expect them to perform well,
Yep.
then they did amazing.
Exactly.
And also, like you said, like the other way around, there's been instances where comedy queens just bombed,
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly. On the runway, I was blown away this week. This is so totally different than any of the looks that she's served so far. And this dark woman, like a dash of Elvira, a dash of like French clown mime, like makeup with the black on the neck and the shaping of the face. It's
Amazing.
Huh.
She looks amazing. Impeccable. Like the makeup, hello? You like literally she came out, I was like, who this?
Who is
Like,
this? Yes.
who is this girl? She looks amazing. Her makeup is amazing. The wig is amazing. The dress, like the latexy dress is like, well, I loved it.
It looks
It's
great on
one
stage.
of my favorite outfits.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Loverboy Johnny in his harness this week. I was happy to see that. I think
Yes.
he wears that so well.
Yeah.
It really matches the black and silver up top as well.
I really wish he would have lost the jacket at least. Maybe just like wear like a white tank top or something.
I mean, a little more skin wouldn't have hurt.
Yes. But no, I mean, he really looks amazing. I love Johnny. I love the judges.
Oh yeah, they all just bring so much joy into my life, like Dianne. And once again, she was looking like B-52's realness in this look. Like, I
Yes,
love the super retro tall hair. I mean, that is like 5 bumpets on top of each other. I think she looks great.
she looks amazing. You know me, you know I love
Oh,
Diane. I
oh
just
yeah.
wanna like, mommy.
Goes without saying. I know she is mother. She totally mother. And
Yeah.
back for a second week in a row, your old best friend, Estefania. I think I was really happy to see that all the queens were really pumped that she was back because I know at
Yes.
least like Yvonne or somebody in the confessionals was saying how excited they were to have her back because
Yeah,
on
with Meta.
screen it read
Yeah.
as, a really warm and enthusiastic interchange between her and the
Yeah.
queens. And to see that they felt the same way was, great.
They seem to really value her. Like they seem to like actually enjoy her commentary, but also like value her criticisms. So
Yeah.
I thought that was and I agree. I thought she brought up. She is very entertaining.
Absolutely. And for a roast challenge, you need somebody that's going to be able to take the jokes as well as dish them out.
Yeah.
And for them to already have established a rapport and have her,
Yeah.
be able to give the back and forth, I thought it was pretty ideal in terms of
Yeah.
a guest judge on a
Perfect.
roast challenge.
Agreed. Yeah.
So, in order of their performances in the roast challenge, first up was Metamorkid. Now, opening a roast challenge is really difficult, and while I still think of Metamorkid as this cerebral fashion queen, she's proven time and time again that she's also funny and can act. And I don't know why I keep like shortchanging her that, but she did so well. Yeah, the joke about Yvonne never saying no to a dealer in a club was hilarious, and the COVID joke about Kelly winning the design challenge, meaning that Barbie's
Yes.
taste
Oh
still
my
has
god. I
anything.
was like,
Yeah, it was very well delivered, and she looked gorgeous. Look at her.
oh my god. Hello. Hello. Like, okay, so this is perfect because lately I've been kind of obsessed with like all these Marilyn Monroe edits.
Yeah,
And I mean, look at her. It's like perfect. And I think she's proving time and time again that she is not a one note queen. I mean, even though she appeared or like she started out as a look queen, I feel like a lot of those they risk falling into like this kind of like one note kind of look.
yeah,
But I think she's shown that she can do it all. Like she can look glam, she can look camp,
yeah,
she can
yeah.
do it all. She's
I know
amazing.
she honestly is kind of becoming a like dark horse front runner for me,
Yeah.
just because she has
Oh,
shown
for
so
sure.
much versatility, and there's been
Yeah.
very few moments of like real weakness.
Yeah. No, she's amazing.
She has shown vulnerability
Yeah.
and growth, and just seems like such a warm person.
Yeah.
Now on
Yeah.
the runway, the category was hair, and the only negative thing I'm gonna say about this look is, I mean, it's really more fur than hair, and I mean that's splitting hairs, for lack of a better phrase. But specifically hair category on the runway is a good opportunity to do ridiculous things with like actual hair,
Hmm. Hmm.
because you can put fur on most runway categories, but
Yeah.
she looks incredible. I mean, she looks
Yeah.
amazing. This
And
color
that stunt
story
was
is stunning. And yeah, I didn't expect her to pull out like a physical stunt
yeah.
during the runway, just a regular runway, and with that long wig like reaching all the way to the floor,
Yeah.
just jaw dropping.
Amazing.
And I
Yeah.
mean, not to take anything away from her face. Look, I mean, this is such a unique makeup job, especially that matches the hair so well.
Yeah.
But
I love it.
she just looks gorgeous.
I love the lip as well. It's like it's so I don't know how to
Soft.
call it, but like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Well, we think
She
of her
is
as being very like detox and how like big and
yeah.
bold her
Mhm,
statements
mhm,
are,
mhm,
but
mhm.
there are these soft little touches that really round out her presentations, and I think that is really starting to make her stand out for me.
She's an amazing queen for sure. I mean,
Wow.
she definitely has all the skills she needs to take it to the top.
Yeah. Well, for her this week in both the comedy roast and the runway, I will give her highs, highs.
Yes, agree totally. She was super nice.
Up next, Ms. Kelly Heelton.
Ooh.
Now, this is definitely someone that we had high hopes for in this type of a challenge, because if there's one thing Kelly has, it's jokes. Now, that is not all of a roast challenge, because you have to be able to deliver those jokes in an appropriate way with the timing that live comedy demands in a room that is remarkably empty. and very large. I feel like on other seasons they make an effort to like bring an audience in that
Yeah.
the vibe is a little bit easier to kind of get into. But there are 4 other queens and a panel of judges, and you are trying to fill a room with that. And she obviously had a lot of jokes prepared, but the delivery was a little off, especially for Kelly. There were a lot of like awkward pauses where like in between the parts of her joke where you could tell she was like lining them up in her head and making sure that she said them right, but it really kind of killed the delivery of them. I think it was still enjoyable, and she definitely got some good zingers out. They got a lot of laughs, but it wasn't like the home run that I hoped it would be. Although she does look gorgeous in this look. I love it.
Hello. Like she can like they showed the queens and I was like, okay, Kelly, you're showing that you can pull off good looks.
Yeah.
So maybe it really was the way that you said that, like she was just like very unlucky that there were certain episodes in a row where she didn't have the best looks, but it looks stunning. She looks amazing.
Because this isn't even a runway look, and it definitely could be.
Yeah, no, she looks great. Amazing.
Now, on the runway, again, like this is what I think of when I think of a hair category. It's big. It is unconventional. She has hair around her ankles, on her shoes. She has them all over her outfit in this huge fascinator that has blue lights in it, which I didn't even notice until the second time I watched it. Yeah. And that is not even to say about her face. Like the way her headpiece melds with her makeup and the way the makeup tells the story that she is giving with the entire look. I like 10 out of 10. No notes. Ooh.
This is amazing.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Just like Estefania said, Genza out. Genza out.
Yeah,
Genza.
Yeah, no, amazing. She looks great. She looks amazing. This is definitely a 10 out of 10. I have to say that I think that if she performed a little bit better in the roast, then she would have definitely won. But
yeah, I feel like the
beginning of the roast was really bumpy.
Yeah, but then I mean, when she hit the joke about like, well, Johnny, when are you going to protest?
Yeah. Oh my god, I was like,
I did think that was pretty good. I mean, like to reference something so specific to multiple members present, like that was pretty on the nose. And that even although it was shady and a little bit dirty, the whole not introducing Loreley because this person needs no introduction. Mic drop. It was unexpected enough that
I have to say. I kind of felt bad for Loreley the whole roast because, like, I mean, not only did she bomb, as we're going to see in a few minutes, but she was at the end of a lot of really mean jokes.
Yeah. But it's kind of like earlier in the season when multiple queens are saying things about Loreley that we didn't necessarily see coming, which really makes me think that, like, the dynamic when the camera's off is not necessarily the same as when it's on, which is unfortunate because the vibe did seem really positive today, especially in Untucked. Like everybody did seem to really connect and like just be grateful to be there. But apparently there's a little bit of tension between Loreley and the rest of the group.
Yeah.
In the comedy roast, I will give her a net, and especially because my expectations were so high. But on the runway, heis, absolutely.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was also a bit disappointed with the beginning of the roast, so only a net from me and definitely a heis for the runway.
Awesome. And speak of the devil herself, up next is Miss Loreley Rivers. I was skeptical about how she was going to do in the runway, just because I don't think of her as a particularly comedic queen, although she has given us some great comedy moments this season. So it was okay. It wasn't okay. It wasn't that great. Like the Mr. Clean joke kind of landed, and I'm glad that she got a good laugh out of Barbie, if anyone. But it was, like she said, crickets.
Yeah.
She looks really pretty though.
She does. And I mean, to be honest, I didn't even feel like the jokes were that bad. To me, it kind of read like, because there was this kind of tension with the other queens, for me that's what it read like. They just didn't really feel like laughing about her jokes, and that's also like, I mean, if nobody's laughing, then even if you think the joke is funny, you won't laugh. So yeah, the whole her whole part. I mean, it definitely was like there weren't any like real zingers except for the Mr. Clean joke. That was kind of funny, but
Well, and even though she was only third, we've already heard the first two queens both make the same kind of shady joke towards Lorelai. So I think you
yeah,
can kind of tell that there's a little bit of actual hurt feelings in her
yeah,
returns that she gives during her set,
yeah,
which
exactly.
may or may not be the case, but at least the way that this has been edited together, it definitely seemed obvious,
Yeah,
which may have kind of robbed the jokes of some of their comedy potential.
yeah,
In the runway, I feel like Lorelai has been kind of a victim of unfortunate ordering of runways and
yes,
challenges because like I kind of pointed out that her Fleetwood Mac look kind of looked like the Beethoven look from the episode before, and the last episode her ball creation look was a red look that involved a red wig and red makeup. And so I know that this was her look that she brought for this category, and it just so happened to be the next week. So it was a little disappointing to see her come out in the garment that the tragic dry cleaning accident looked like this was supposed to be. But this does look finished, it does.
yeah.
I like that it's something special to Dusseldorf, and I mean it's like a dragon with two tails, which is, I mean zwei Schwänze sounds way better and more hilarious in German,
True.
but it was a little underwhelming because it is kind of just mostly a bodysuit.
Yeah, it looked really costumey to me. I wasn't a big fan of it. I mean, as always, her makeup is always on point.
Yeah.
She does know how to paint, so that's perfect. And also, I gotta say, I mean, she does look very sweet and nice, and like she just looks just like such a nice queen, to be honest,
Yeah.
or such a nice person. So yeah, I was kind of sad to like see her not perform this well this week, but this look, yeah, it ain't it.
Yeah.
So
And when there's only five queens, it's kind of hard to hide.
yes,
If it's a weak runway week for you,
yeah,
or challenge. So I will give both of her looks and performances a shice. Sorry.
yeah. Sadly, I have to agree.
Hey, like Turing on Drag Race Philippines says, just because you had a bad day doesn't mean you have a bad drag. I just think it was not her
Period.
day. On.
I mean, she's shown us before she can do comedy. And
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Tanya.
from Barbie Zalesh.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, oh my god, yes.
Well, up next, our woman of the evening, Yvonne Nightstand. I love this look. First off, in the roast, like she looks like a Jetsons like cartoon character,
Yes.
like the kind of mom character that lives next door that you only see every once in a while. She's always sloshed.
Yeah. She looks amazing.
Yeah, I figured that Yvonne had the potential to really knock the roast out of the park, and it was no disappointment. I thought that she was hilarious, and what I loved about her a lot, and I think really played into her favor in this challenge, was her warmth. She's
Yes.
always, all season long, she's given a very warm vibe, but even when she was saying shady jokes, like there was like a laugh and a smile right behind it, and like there was an immediate understanding from all the queens in the room that like it wasn't meant in a really mean
Yeah.
or cutting way. And so I think everybody was just in with her from the get-go, and like leading to the jokes about the Austrians, about Meta not winning the design challenge, not winning the ball
Oh my
challenge, and then her
god.
glad you won the mini challenges, you might need an overcoat because it's cold in Pandora's shadow.
I was gagged. It was so funny.
My
It was
God,
so funny.
girl.
Like even Meta just like was like, okay, well, you got me.
Well, of course, Pandora loves it because it's stroking her ego at the same time.
Yeah. No, she did amazing. I mean, there's this very thin line that I think that it is a talent that not a lot of people possess, where you can say mean shit, but it's so funny that nobody will like be mad at you.
Exactly.
And she definitely walked that line perfectly. She performed amazing. I always love to see a queen perform well on the stage, and then also like I think Barbie said it. You could see that her performing well and like making the other people laugh gave her the energy to like be even more comfortable
Yep.
and do even better.
Yep.
And you could definitely see that. I agree with that completely. So yeah, she knocked the ball out of the park, or whatever the fuck you say.
Look at you making baseball references. Ooh.
Oh my god!
Are you an American hetero? I thought you were for a second.
Well, I do have the mustache, so.
Yeah, you really do. Dad duty. Oh, well, so turning to Yvonne's runway, somehow this is like so Yvonne and so stunning. I mean, it's a different take than any of the queens took
Yes.
in this kind of futuristic, great use of really interestingly colored hair in multiple places across the outfit. And, I love the kind of neon color scheme, kind of like her roast look. It's these really vibrant, bright colors.
Yeah.
And the makeup job is so unique. Like, it is not any kind of traditional glam with like the contacts, the white lashes, the kind of relatively soft lip to such a harsh look. But I love that even on a hair look, she didn't go for like just a huge wig. She
Yeah.
went with a long pony that kind of melds into the rest of her look with this kind of head cap piece. It kind of reminds me of like the denim headpiece that she wore during the ball, during
Oh
the
yeah.
3-in-1 look, which I think is, not something that we see all the time, but I think works really well for these looks.
Yeah. She looks amazing. She looks like an alien goddess. Like, hello, I'm here for it. Also, I just realized she literally wears the same like neck piece that Kelly does like wears,
Oh,
just in black.
yep. That's so funny that you said Meta though, because I thought Meta was the like alien queen of the season, but Yvonne
Yeah.
looks great.
Yeah. No, this is definitely. I mean, yeah, this is definitely an alien look, and she just looked, yeah, like an
Well,
alien warrior queen goddess.
I think this was definitely Yvonne's week, and so I'm going to give her heises in the comedy roast
Yes.
and on the runway. Heis.
Yes. Heis, 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 heis.
And last but not least, Pandora Nox. So Pandora, I was skeptical about. We've seen her struggle in comedy challenges.
Yes.
What I realized this episode is she is so cerebral in how she approaches, I mean, really all of these challenges. Obviously things like dancing and lip syncing and, choreography are things that she's very good at, and serving looks for days.
Yes.
I think that it was smart for her to have that approach and to have
Yeah.
some kind of like a structure to build your set around. But I do kind of feel the same way as like Victoria Shakespeare's last week in the lip sync, relying on that microphone the whole time. It's a great idea, but relying on it for the entirety of your performance was just not enough.
Yeah.
Like, because she did get a lot of laughs, in the first 5 or 6 jokes, but when you
Yeah.
kind of realize that you're sticking to that structure the entire way through, if any of those jokes start to falter, then yeah, it's like, yeah, like the queens in the confessionals were falling asleep. If they're all killer jokes, then you can really get away with it, but I think it just didn't work out for
Yeah.
her.
I think it's just not the kind of challenge that works well with Pandora's humor, because I have genuinely laughed about a lot of her jokes that she's done in like her confessionals and stuff.
Yeah.
But she has such a dry humor that it's like I don't think it really translates well for a roast.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, where the issue lay. I have to say though, I mean, I think they mentioned it before, but like, I mean, she's shown time and time again that she is extremely multi-talented. And then this week, she mentioned in the beginning where Barbie says that laughter is the best medicine, and she's like, "Well, as a doctor, I disagree." And I was like, "Bitch, you're a fucking doctor,
Right.
as well? Like, how are some people so talented and like can do so many things? And I'm over here. I work in retail. I literally don't do anything, and I'm like already like so überfordert with everything." So,
Oh my gosh. Honestly, that explains a lot of the cerebralness of her approach to these things. Because obviously she is someone who is incredibly book smart and whose brain is capable of like these massive things. So, but sometimes those like spur of the moment improvisational tasks are therefore the hardest to perform just because you can't prepare for it as thoroughly as you can for, so many other types of tasks. So yeah, it's not an indictment of her drag at all that she doesn't nail every comedy challenge, especially a stand-up roast type challenge, which is notoriously difficult because she still is so multi-talented across so many different skills that like, oh, well, this isn't something that you're immediately great at, And I think she had the same approach. Like she loves lip syncing and like she wasn't, opposed to doing it today either. But, as far as this competition is concerned, it does, like, she was serving such frontrunner energy for, the first few episodes that, like, maybe that's not the case because some of the other queens are proving to be a little bit more well-rounded.
Yes. But I mean, she does look amazing in the challenge. And on the runway, hello.
Yes. Ooh. I mean, as a Taurus myself, I
look at you.
Love this look, but there's so many little details. Like, I mean, the hair, first of all, is incredible. The braids wrapped around it, the little bells. I've never seen that before, and it matches the bells on this intricate gold bodysuit corset, like, frame thing. But I really love that she's got the hoof shoes on and the hoofs on the arms. I love that shit so much. And she's got and it's a nose prosthetic again, and that's 2 weeks in a row, kind of like Lorelai's curse of the order of runways, but with the bull look and the pierced septum, oversized hoop, and like the dark of the makeup and everything. I thought it was absolutely appropriate and fucking perfect.
Yes, perfect. I mean, this is amazing. It's great. Her drag doesn't bore me ever.
Yeah.
Well, except with context. I've said that before, and I'm not going to go back on that. Yeah. But she just has a brilliant mind. I don't know how else to put it.
She really does. And like, as we noticed in the comedy challenge, and I feel like I can kind of see it in her dancing sometimes, like in some of the lip syncs. It's like she has this huge repertoire of like really incredible moves that she can do, and positions to put her body in, ways of moving, while she's serving these lip syncs. But I feel like sometimes it lacks a little bit of fluidity or finesse in connecting those things into like one dance. It seems like it's like, I did this, okay, then I'm gonna go over here and do this, and then because there's a few moments where she just ends up kind of standing there and just kind of like looking around, and you can tell she didn't have anything planned necessarily. And now that I know that she really approaches it from such an academic kind of mindset, it makes it that much more obvious. But that's not to say that she's not an incredible performer, because I couldn't do a single one of those activities that she has lined up to do. But it's just there's a lot of skills in lip syncing and dancing and stuff, and I mean, you can't hit 100% of them.
No. She's an amazing performer. She's an amazing drag artist, and for me, it's definitely a heist for the runway.
Yes.
I will give her a net for the performance.
I was gonna give her a shice for the performance, but I'll give it a net, because there were some good laughs in there. Like, she started off strong, and it just kind of got monotonous, which is not quite as bad as just being cringe the whole time.
I think I want to give her a shice for the jokes, but I love her outfit.
Yeah.
So it's a net.
We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
Before we change our minds. So we're down to such a small group, and they all look really great on the runway. I mean, I like all these queens so much.
Yes.
And I feel like they're all incredibly talented and have more than any other franchise. I feel like they all just have such stellar ideas. Like their creativity is just through the roof. And I've said it before, sometimes the execution doesn't 100% match, but I love that they're getting to showcase all these skills.
Yes.
And was really hoping that Yvonne would get her win.
Yes.
And she does.
As she should.
For someone that has been so consistent and so likable, if for no other reason than just her sheer likability, I want her to have a badge. But you also want it to be earned. And, there have been a couple episodes where I felt like she could have gone up there, and I feel like this was just her time. And I don't necessarily think she's got a winning storyline set up, but I am so happy that she's in the top 4.
Yeah.
And I am excited to see, every single second that she's on my screen, regardless of whether it's, until next week or down the line.
She did amazing, and she deserves to win this week, definitely, for sure. So,
which the bottom two were pretty obvious. The only two people that really struggled to get many laughs were Pandora and Loreley. I mean, Kelly struggled a little bit, but that look was so good. I do not blame them for having her be safe.
No, I have to say, her confessionals were so fucking funny. I was laughing my fucking ass off. Her confessionals were fucking funnier than the fucking roast. It was hilarious.
Well, and once again, I don't know if I see her getting a winning edit, but she's one of those queens that doesn't fucking need it. Like, she is a boss and an icon and a legend, and she may or may not win the season, but we will see her again.
Of course. She's definitely done, she put her mark. Yeah. For sure.
Absolutely. I know. I mean, I want to go to V-Spotting now, and nobody has ever made me say that before.
Nobody ever said that before.
Right? Oh, man. So while I would have preferred a nice, spicy German lip sync song, we get Sia Chandelier, which is a really intense song. So I figured with these kind of intense performers, we would get quite a lip sync. And it was interesting. It was a little bit uncomfortable. It kind of had me on the edge of my seat a little bit, and not necessarily in a great way. Loreley gave a great lip sync. She proved last week that she can not only serve some serious emotion, but can serve some dance moves and stunts as well. And she does. She gave some great spin drops and hair flips. It was a little bit difficult to compete on the stage with somebody like Pandora because she can hit these wild poses. I didn't think she stayed in this pose for a really long time.
Yeah.
Longer than was maybe necessary, but I guess part of the stamina of being able to hold that while singing about swinging from a chandelier is impressive. Sure.
Yeah. First of all, it was kind of obvious in the beginning, when they showed the two bottom queens, who was going to win. Because, we've seen Pandora lip sync. She is an amazing performer. She always seems so eager to perform, which is so cute because she's usually so reserved. Yeah. But then, when she gets to lip syncing, she's all giddy, and it's so fun to look at. I have to say though, the things and the stunts she did pull in her performance, they were amazing. We've seen her do amazing physical things.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't feel I personally felt Loreley's vibe a lot more.
I said Loreley connected with the emotion of Chandelier much better.
I felt that a lot more, and like I said, it would have been pretty unfair for Pandora to go, not just because of the performance, but her whole performance over the show.
Right.
She just did so much better.
That does play a role in those decisions. As much as any judge or panel on any of these franchises would like us to believe that these decisions are being made solely on the lip sync that is happening in front of you. Yeah. It's just human psychology that you're not going to be able to discount the things that you've seen before. It doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Except it's a really shitty lip sync. But her lip sync wasn't shitty. It just to me it felt like you said earlier. It just felt a bit disconnected. She did all those things. To me, they just didn't really make sense in that kind of.
It didn't tell a story.
Yes.
As much as it was a series of impressive things to do.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then, pretty soon into the lip sync, you see her leave the stage, which, after seeing Victoria do it, and, seeing that being rewarded, I guess, why not? You can tell that she was kind of playing with the judges, acting like she was going to approach the table, and they were kind of oh, no. To be fair, I think Johnny's just singing right now. I don't think he was actually making that face at Pandora. It was just in the moment. But it was nice to see that acknowledgement that, okay, I'm not going to do what Victoria did. But then to spend the entire rest of the lip sync down there, where you could tell Dianne was having trouble exactly seeing what was happening, I was just can we just stay on the stage? If you play a basketball game, you have to stay in the basketball zone. Yeah. The area. That's what it's called. The zone. The b-ball zone. And you're not allowed to do that. And so if you're having a competition on the stage, then use the stage and stay on it. But I'm not gonna lie, this is an impressive thing to do. It's kind of in line with the other physical things we've seen her do, but nobody on Drag Race has done this before that I know of, unless it was in Italia 2, 3, France 2, or Philippines 2. ones I haven't seen.
Oh my god, shame on you.
It was still really impressive, and to drop down into the splits afterward. I mean, both of these
Yes.
queens really did serve. And
Yes.
I, like every week, you hate to see someone that you feel like is deserving have to leave. But
Yes.
all things considered, I don't think that it was unreasonable for Pandora Nox to Shantae, she stays. And
Yes.
it was time for Loreley to sashay away.
Yeah. It made perfect sense. She's really grown to me. For me, the top 5 is always like where it starts to like get really hard for me, because you've started to fall for these queens so much.
Yeah.
And you start liking them so much, so that it was kind of hard for me to see her go. But I will say, I thought she took it with so much grace. She felt like Victoria the week before. It really did feel like she took it with so much like gratitude, and she was just so happy for the experience. I really hope for her that she did learn a lot about herself. It was so nice that she gave this speech, and Johnny just started crying again, and Johnny's just me.
Waterworks.
But yeah, I wish her all the best for the future. She's amazing.
Well, and I mean, she is still a young queen,
Yeah.
and I for some reason just assume that any of these queens that are ready to show up to a season of Drag Race, like, have it all figured out already. And,
Yeah.
but I forget that there is real, not only growth in people's drag, but personal growth that people go through.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the personal circumstances and the interactions throughout the season were intense around Loreley, and I hope that she had a good time. It looked like it was rough, and I know that it's got to be just a huge, stressful, chaotic few weeks of your life, but she just looks so good. I liked her a lot.
Yes, me too. She's amazing.
Well, that does leave us with the top 4.
Crazy.
Yvonne Nightstand, Kelly Heelton, Pandora Nox, and Metamorkid. Can you believe both Austrians are still in the running?
Amazing.
They really sent their best people, didn't they?
They really did, yeah. Is it the top 4 that I envisioned? Definitely not. I mean, okay, well, no. I mean, I did see Pandora and Meta in there, for sure.
It's kind of hard to tell what next week's challenge is. It looks like a green screen challenge, and then something that makes them all very emotional.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like the reaction they would have if it was like a makeover challenge and their families walked in, but it seems like that's not the main challenge. So
yeah,
I guess we will just have to see. I guess we are kind of getting toward the last chapter of the season.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So thank you, Thomas, so much for joining me for week 8 of this little adventure.
I am so grateful to be here with you. It's always so fun. Thank you for all the work that you do, and thank you for being amazing.
Always worth it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, everybody at home, for joining us as well. Y'all have stuck with us through many of a minute of many of an episode, and if you're listening to this part, then you really deserve a badge of some sort. So maybe I'll just have to make y'all some badges.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, be sure and join us here next week, same place, same-ish time, for episode 9 of Drag Race Germany, Season 1. Hope you have a great week. Cheers!
Bye!